Okay, please confirm if my screen is visible. Thank you, Chaitanya. We'll start. Huh? Okay, so we were discussing about what? We were discussing about the typecasting in Java. So we have completed upcasting. Okay, and we need to discuss about downcasting. Okay, what is an upcasting? Okay, it is a type of typecasting in which a child object is typecasted. You can just typecasting is nothing but a kind of converting a child object to the parent class object. Okay, when you do that by using the typecast operator, you call it as what? Upcasting. When you do the conversion from, when you typecast it from child to parent, it is called upcasting. When you do the opposite from parent to child, when you do the opposite, it is going to be called as downcasting. So today we are going to discuss about downcasting. But one thing, before even understanding about downcasting in Java, you need to understand something about an operator. Okay, a special kind of operator. The name of the operator is instance of operator. Instance of operator, or you can say that instance of operator or keyword. Okay, this understanding is required to understand what? To understand the downcasting topic. Okay, I hope everyone has joined in. Yes. Okay, so this understanding is required. Okay, instance of operator. Okay, you can call it as an operator, or you can also call it as a keyword. Okay, what does it mean to be an instance of keyword in Java? Why it has been introduced? Okay, we will understand the importance of instance of operator, right? So I can say that, let me copy this for you. Okay, instance of is a keyword or operator, you can say. Let us stick to the keyword used for checking. It is used for checking. What kind of checking it is going to do? Okay, if a reference variable, if a reference variable contains a given type of object reference or not. Object reference or not. Okay, this is a definition for instance of operator, but we are not able to understand, what does this define, what does this actually defines. Okay, it is saying that it has been said that it is a keyword used for checking. If a reference variable of an object, okay, contains what? The reference variable of an object contains a given type of object reference or not. Right? Now, yeah, I just want to confirm one thing. Okay, now see the usage of this instance of operator. To understand this, I will demonstrate a Java program. Okay, so I have a class A, and let me take class B. So now I have three classes in this particular program, in this particular file, right? I have three classes. I am dealing with three classes. Okay, I have an option to create objects. Don't you think so? I can create object for class A. So for the class A, let us say that the object is created by using the reference variable obj1 equal to new A. Good. Okay, like this I can create many number of objects. Okay, the second time the reference variable can be obj2, third time the reference variable can be obj3, fourth time the reference variable can be obj4, right? Someone has just joined it. Okay, so I can create many number of objects, but you must understand one thing. Each and every object is get identified by its own reference variable. Yes or no? This is obj1, obj2, obj3, obj4. Okay, this is for class A. Okay, you can create any number of objects, depends upon the requirement. Okay, now I have class B, right? And for the class B, I can create number of objects for class B as well. This time let us take obj5 equal to new B, right? Let me replicate this. We copy and paste this. Now you see the importance of instance of operator. Okay, obj5, obj6, and I have obj7, and I have obj8. Okay, class B. For the class B, I have created four set of objects. Each and every set of object is identified by one reference variable, right? We have another class, test class. Even I want to create some objects for the test class as well. Why I am creating this many objects, we will understand that in a short period of time. Okay, test 4 objects. Okay, this is obj 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, you must understand one thing. Okay, objects are created for 3 classes. Okay, 4 sets of objects are created for each and every class. This part is called as reference variable, and this part is called as the type, the class type. Okay, and this new keyword, this new A is called as what? The object creation. Okay, you must identify, you can give certain kind of identification for this particular line. Reference variable, object reference variable, this is of type, class type. This is object reference variable. I mean, this part is object reference variable, this is of class type. Okay, if I ask you a question, okay, just let's say that if I am asking a question to Ratna, okay, if I am asking a question to Ratna, what kind of object type is obj11? When I ask him, obj11 is of what type? What Ratna is going to do? Ratna is going to see, okay, there is a reference variable called obj11. It is of what type? Test type. By looking at it, he can say. Okay, now I am asking Shashwant. Shashwant, what is the type of the reference variable obj7? I will ask him obj7. Okay, Shashwant, what is the type of obj7? Shashwant is going to say what? You will look for the obj7. Okay, this is the obj7 variable. It is of what type? B type. Okay, now I want to ask Darshini, what is the type of obj3? What Darshini is going to do? Darshini is going to do what? She is going to identify the obj3. obj3 is here. It is of what type? A type. Very simple. By looking at this, you can say, because we are humans, we are clever enough to do this kind of identifications, right? But if I hide all this, okay, if I hide all this, okay, if I want to ask you, okay, without showing this, if I ask each and every individual, obj1, obj2, obj3, obj4, likewise, if I ask you without even showing you the class, if I ask you for the identification, if I ask you like what kind of type is for obj12, is there a way for us to tell? Is there any way for us to tell, to identify the type without even looking at the class? Is there any way for us? How many reference variables I have created so far from obj1 to obj2? By looking at this, you can able to identify the type, right? But if you ever had to identify its type without even looking at this, or if you ever had to write a code without even looking at this, for example, if I have a kind of, I'm taking another package. So this is inside this package, I want a class C. Okay, inside this class C, I want to identify the type of the 12 reference variables which I have just created: obj1, obj2, obj3, obj4, and we have obj12. We want to identify that we can create n number of objects, and each and every object will be identified by this object reference variable. Okay, but if you want to find its type without even looking at the without even looking at the class, sometimes you will be in a situation, okay, you will be working in the 100th package, or you will be working in some package, some random package, okay, some 100th package. From there, you want to identify the types of the reference variable, right? You want to find the type of the reference variable obj12. I want to find its type, because they are user defined. Okay, user defined variables, in the sense the name is always what, they give meaningful names. It is not like they can we can memorize all this. It is not like that. The real time implementation, you have to create reference variables, but you cannot memorize all the reference variables because they are just generated randomly and meaningfully. But if you want to find its type, obj tool, if you want to find this type, then you will be using what? Instance of operator. Instance of operator. How it is going to help us? Okay, let me remove all this. Okay, let me remove all this. By looking at this, we can say, okay, also by using this instance of operator, if I just want to use that instance of operator or the keyword in the system dot out dot println, right? I want to type obj11 of what type? obj11 instance of. Okay, I am just checking if obj11 is instance of test. I'm putting a question. If obj11 instance of test, what does it mean? Is obj11 is of test type? If it is test type, it is going to return true. If not, it is going to return what? False. Okay, I am asking another question. What is the question? Is obj11. I'm asking, hey, obj1 is instance of test. It will check obj1. Where is obj1? obj1 is here. obj1 is of A type, not test type. So output is going to be false. It is supposed to be false. Okay. Again I'm asking, okay, hey, is obj6 is of test type? No, let me check. obj6 is there, but obj6 is of B type. But we are checking if it is for of test type. No, it is not. So false. Right? Fourth question again. Okay. Hey, is obj1 is of is obj1 instance of B? obj1 is there. obj1 is there. It is instance of A, not B. So we want to check it is of B. No, it is not. So false. Okay, if I run this, don't you think that I should be getting output like true, false, false, false? Yes or no? Let me run this. Java space test.java. Okay, Java C space. Okay, Java C space test.java. Compilation command. obj1 instance of, what is it? Instance of obj6. Am I doing any mistake here? obj1 instance of spelling is correct. Instance of, okay, 1 minute. obj11 instance of test. This class test. Let me remove all this. System.out.println. True. obj11 instance of test is going to be what? It is saying it is returning as true. But why we got an error previously? Let me check that. obj1 instance of obj1 is instance of, I'm saying instead of test. Should supposed to be false, but we are getting an error. Okay, it is supposed to be false. Let me remove this. Let me check this condition. obj1 is of what type? obj1 is of A type. Okay, we want to check if obj1 is of test type. Okay, so let us check it for A type. Let us see what we are getting there. What output we are getting. Java C space test.java, Java space true. Let us check if it is of test type. Okay. Okay, so I missed one thing here. So here the classes are, here I have the independent class. Okay, class test should be extend. We are talking about inheritance concept, so I'm missing this keyword. Extends B. Okay, this should be extends A. Okay, and of course this has to be extends object. Okay, so this object, extends object, this is a part that is going to be given by the compiler. Okay, now I forgot to create the relationship, that's why we got an error. Okay, now I am trying to ask if obj1 is instance of test. Okay, now look at the placeholder of obj1 first of all. Okay, look at the placeholder of obj1. Okay, obj1 is of a type. Okay, this is class A, and we are asking to check if obj1 is instance of test. But obj1 is instance of what type? Actually it is A type. Let me write it down here. Actually it is A type, but we want to check, we want to test if obj1 is instance of test. Okay, we are just putting this condition. Okay, it says false, it says it is not. Okay, likewise we can do multiple checks. See, let me do 5. Okay, this is obj, let us take it as obj11. Okay, obj11 is of test type. I want to check obj11 is instance of test. Obviously it should be true. We will write it here, then we will finally check the answer. Now obj1 instance of test. Instead of test we can do it like instance of let me take it as B. Okay, so actually obj1 is instance of, we want to check if it is instance of B, but obj1 belongs to what? obj1 belongs to A, but we want to check it for B. If it is A, we will get true. Since it is B, we are supposed to get what? We are supposed to get false. Yes or no? If it is true, we can get what it says. We can get, if it is A, we can get it as true. Since it is B, we are going to get it as false. Okay, now I want to check obj9 instance of test. Okay, obj9 is of test type, right? Of course it is going to be true, right? Now obj7, okay, instance of A. obj7 is instance of A. Okay, let me remove this. Okay, first let us try to check this. Are we getting false, true, false, true? Okay, false, true, false, true. Okay, now you must understand one thing before even coming to the conclusion. You must understand one thing here. Okay, it is mandatory to create the inheritance relationship because we are dealing with 3 different classes and it has to be in an inheritance relationship. Okay, we are trying to find if they are instance of a specific classes. Okay, let me copy this and paste it in the plain screen. Okay, true. Yeah. Okay, let us take this. Okay, very big code. Okay, and we will keep this line. Yeah, we will take this line again. Okay, now you try to understand one thing. So there is a relationship between test is extending B is extending to A. Of course this A is extending to object, because if you don't define anything, of course it is going to extend to object. I put it deliberately. Okay, how does we can represent this in the form of tree diagram? Okay, let us understand the tree diagram first. There are 4 classes. This is one class, this is another class, this is another class, and this is another class. Okay, what is a root class? Test class, right? Test is extending to B class. How this can be represented? There is a class called test. Okay, there is a relationship between test and B class because test is extending to B, right? And the second thing is B class. B class is extending to A class. Okay, so this is A, right? So B is extending to what class? B is extending to A class, right? And there is a class, A is extending to object class. Okay, what kind of inheritance is this? First of all, can you help me with the name of this inheritance? What kind of inheritance that we are talking about now? Look at this tree diagram. Can we conclude that what kind of inheritance is this? Anyone can answer to this question? Is there anyone who can help me with this answer? Hierarchical, no Chaitanya, but good try. Good try. Okay, so this inheritance is what? Multi-level inheritance. Multi-level, more than one level, right? Multi-level. Hierarchical means always remember there will be one parent but many number of children, more than one children. Okay, this is multi-level inheritance. Multi-level. Do you agree with me? Multi-level. Right? What about others? Yeah, I should be fast enough to answer this kind of question. By looking at the tree, you should be saying it as it is a multi-level inheritance. Okay. So now when you try to use this instance of operator, every time when you try to use this instance of operator, okay, now you see specifically obj1. Okay, obj1, we are trying to check instance of test. Okay, but remember one thing. Whenever you create an object, okay, if I try to, this is the parent class, okay. So this test class, this is the base class, this is base class, this is the base class, okay, and test as a parent b as a parent a, but according to the test, for the test a is the parent, b is the grandparent, and object is the great grandparent. Yes or no? All the functionalities and all the behaviors, all the properties of object class, okay, all the properties and behaviors of object class, all the properties and behaviors of a class, I'm sorry, all the properties and behaviors of what is it, object class, and all the properties and behaviors of let me place it here, okay, all the properties and behaviors of a class, okay, and all the properties and behaviors of b class, okay, will be inherited by what? By class test. Don't you think so? All these things are available to this great grandson, okay, all the generations hierarchy, the properties and behaviors, the great grandsons, they are always lucky because they can inherit all the properties and behaviors. In the real time example I am saying, okay, in any family generation, okay, they have rights to inherit all the properties of their parents as well as the grandparents and so on. Likewise, it is going to inherit all this, okay. All these things are available to test class, okay. So when you create object, okay, when you create object, okay, how many objects we have created for the class A? For the class A, we have created these many sets of objects. Okay, let me remove this for now. Okay, for the class A, we have created this many sets of objects. Okay, for the class B, we have created this many set of objects. Okay, let me remove this and keep it here. And for the class test, I want to copy this. Do not want to remove this. Okay, this many number of objects, right? And for the class test, we have also created this many number of objects, right? And if you just if you just focus on this reference variables obj1, okay, these are the reference variables, right? These are the reference variables, right? These are the reference variables. Okay, my question was like, okay, this is my question. This is our questions. Okay, let us try to analyze each and every question. You should answer me. Okay, this is our question. Okay, now focus here. Focus the first question. obj1 instance of test I am saying. obj1 is instance of test. obj1 belongs to where? obj1 is here. Yes or no? obj1 is here. Okay, the first one is what? obj1. This obj1 is of what type? We want to check if obj1 is of test type. It is not, because it is of parent type. That's why we are getting false. What is the second question? obj11 instance of test. obj11 is where? Here obj11 is here, and we are checking it is instance of test. Of course it is. So we are getting true. So far good. Okay, these questions are easily visible. Anyone in the guys can answer this. obj1 instance of B I am saying. Okay, obj1 is of obj1 is of what? obj1 is of what? obj1 is here. Is it instance of B? No, it's instance of A. So we get false. That's why we got false. No issues. And obj9 instance of test. obj9 is where? obj9 is here. Instance of test. Yes, it is. We are got true. Now my question is, if I ask you a question, okay, let me write this question here. Let me see who is going to answer this. Okay, system. Okay, let the system dot order print on. We know this already. Yes, let me take it as SOP. s dot o dot p. Okay, I want to ask you a simple question. Obj 12, okay, obj 12 instance of a. Is there anyone who can help me with this answer? If I ask you a question, is obj 12, okay, let us identify obj 12. Obj 12 is here. Obj 12 is of what type? Test type. We know visibly by looking from our eyes, we are able to see obj 12 is of what type? Obj 12 is of what? Test type. I am asking you a question. Okay, we are putting a question to the compiler, to the JVM, asking it, hey JVM, can you help me with the type of obj 12? Is obj 12 is instance of a? What JVM is going to answer? True or false? Even I don't know, I am asking you. Rashfan says false, Vijaykant says false, false, false. Okay. What about others? Only 3 people have mouth. What about others? Okay. Let us try to debug this. Okay. Let us try to debug this. My question is what? I can remove this. I don't think we need to work on this. Okay. Obj 12 instance of what? Is my question correct? Obj 12 instance of a. Okay, false is there. You are answering it as false. We will check whether it is false. No errors. So what we got here? What we got here? True. Our answer is false, but compiler says it's true. Why it has become true? Why it has become true? Okay, no need to confuse, no need to worry. We understand the inheritance. Understand the concept of inheritance now. Okay. So when you are checking the reference variable of a child class, okay, when you are checking any reference variable of a child class, okay, we are checking reference variable of obj 12 belongs to whether the obj 12 is of what type? Obj 12 is of a type. This is our question. Obj 12 is of a type or not? Okay, if this obj 12 actual, what is the actual type of obj 12? Test type, right? Obj 12 belongs to test type. Obj 12 is of what type? So there is a direct relation. Obj 12 equal to test type. I can say obj 12 equal to test type, right? So if you check this obj 12 with its parents, grandparents, the great grandparents, answer will be true. Let me repeat. Obj 12 is of test type. Obj 12 belongs to test. I agree with that. Okay, it's obj 12 instance of test. It should supposed to be true. A direct relation, obj test. At the same time, if you're trying to check if the obj 12 is reference of B, first try to find B is parent of test. It will give true only. Relationship is there. Okay, and if you try to check for A is also parent of test. It's going to give. By looking at this hierarchy, if you want to check this, if this obj 12, okay, is instance of test, it will give true. Okay, and if you try to check instance of B, it is going to give true. If you try to check instance of it is going to give true. If you try to check instance of object, it is going to give true. With this hierarchy, because this is the child object, it has parent, it has grandparent, it has great grandparent. For all these object, for all these types, it is going to return true only. Where is the proof? So if I want to test, hey, if obj 12 is of instance of test, okay, if obj 12 is instance of test, what I am supposed to get? True. Because directly we can able to identify. It is very, very specific. We do not want to think much about it. It's true. But if you want to check if obj is instance of what? B. Okay, it should supposed to return true only. Because B is a parent of test, right? true. If I try to check Java C space, instance of A, okay, true. Okay, instance of object, okay, true. For all this true, you might be wondering why it is true, because it is not even instance of if I try to do this comparison, obj is of B, okay, obj actually it belongs to test, but the B is parent of test, okay. So in this hierarchy, if there is a relationship in this hierarchy, if you do any kind of testing, it is going to be true, okay. For example, let us keep this aside. We want to do the same thing with obj8, okay. Let me do this, okay. Now you see, now I want to take obj8. obj8 is of what type? Actually it is of B type, right? It is of B type. If I test, hey, it's obj, let me, no, not this, okay, let me try to, okay, hey, it's obj8 instance of B, true. If I ask if obj8 instance of A, true. If I ask if obj is instance of object, true. But if I ask if obj8 is instance of test, now it is going to give false. Reverse direction is going to give false. Are you getting this? In the upward direction, okay, it will try obj, actually it is of B type. When if you test it for A, direction is okay, matching, true, parent. For parent it is going to give true. For the immediate child it is going to give false. If I try to do the testing it here, I am supposed to get false. Where is the proof? Let us check each and every case. I want to check obj8 is of obj8 instance of B. I want to check. Okay, what I'm supposed to get. So we are talking about obj8 instance of B. Let me remove this, it is not required. Okay, obj8 instance of B. Instance of A I want to check. Instance of object I want to check. Okay, if my logic is correct, okay, I am supposed to get true for all these three cases, yes or no? Right? Let me run this. Java C space start Java. Java C space. We got true for all these cases. Okay. So when I'm going to get false, if I try to do the same check for the immediate child class of obj8, child type. What is the child type? Test. Test is the immediate child type. I am supposed to get what? I am supposed to get false, right? As per my logic, as per our understanding. True, 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 false. Are you getting this? Are you getting this tree diagram? Shall I ask you some more questions? Everyone? Can we go with some questions? Interesting questions? Yeah, see, now my question is, okay, see, this is good. So far, this is good. Okay, now you tell me, let us take this case, okay, obj4 I want to take. We want to take what? We want to take this obj4, okay. If I take this obj4, if I do instance, if I, by using instance of operator, I want to check if this obj4 reference variable is of a particular class type. I will be able to get true if I do the what? If I do the comparison with A, true. If I do the comparison with object, true. But remember, if I do the comparison with the child classes, if I come in this opposite direction, this is going to be false, this is going to be false. Agree? Right? So now my question for you is, I want you to tell me if very simple question. I think you will be able to answer this. Okay. obj1. We'll deal with obj1. obj1 instance of A, first question. Second question, instance of B. Okay, instance of object. Okay, Help me with the answers. I want to do the comparison. obj1 is instance of A. Is it true or false? And again, obj1 is instance of B. True or false? Okay. And obj1 instance of object. True or false? Any answers have we got? Vijay answers true, true, true. Let true, false. Mixed answers I got true, false, true. Yes, good, 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 good. First check. Yeah, direct check for the obj1. First check is what? First comparison with what? First comparison is this obj1 is part of A. We're going to get true. Next, we want to check for B. Okay, for B, it has to, come down. I mean, it has to look inside the class, children class. Okay, if it is coming in the opposite direction, okay, the object is getting compared in the opposite direction and the child classes false. Instead of B is going to be false. Third, what is the third question? Instead of instance of object. Object is again top direction, parent direction, immediate parent direction. So true. So answer is what? True, false, true. Right? obj1, right? One instance of what is it? A, instance of B, and instance of object. Same question, isn't it? Right? Instance of A, instance of B, instance of object. True, false, true. This is the answer. Good, good, good people, you are getting this. Right? So this is all about instance of operator. Okay. So this is necessary because sometimes we will be in a situation, okay, in a situation where we are supposed to we will be given the reference variables. Okay, we know the reference variable names, but we need to check if it is type of, if it is instance of a particular class, if there is any relationship between these classes, exact relationship, but it belongs to a particular instances. It can be parent or it can be direct. It can be a parent thing or it can be a direct. Actually, what we will try to do, we will be dealing with the parent-child relationship. That's it. Right? You can find the values according to that. Okay, if there is no relationship, you will get error if it is not related, or else you will not get any. For example, if I remove this extends object, if I remove this extends A, if I remove this extends B, okay, and if I try to find obj1 instance of A, I am supposed to should be true because direct question is very straightforward. obj1 instance of A, obj1 is instance of A. Of course, it is true. But if I cannot, I can also do this. I can also do obj1 instance of object, right? Because for every class, the parent class is object class. A class is going to extend object. B class is going to extend object, even if you define it or if you don't define it, right? But when there is no relation, and if you try to use instance of operator without I did these mistakes when I was starting this discussion, okay, but try to check obj1 is instance of test, okay, we get an error here. Okay, first let us try to run this code. It should be true. Okay, but when I do this, and I think we have got error, incompatible types. It's trying to convert internally. It's nowhere related because there is no relationship here between test and obj1. Between test and obj1, there is no relationship here, no identified relationship, because obj1 is of A type, and so we have A and we also have test. Okay, we are trying to create a kind of relation, whereas actually there is no relation between the test class and the class A. They both are independent. If there is any relation like this, we may get something true or false. Now this is going to be valid, yes or no? Oh, this is going to be valid. What I'm trying to say, obj1 instance of test. Okay, either we get true or false, something we will get in the console. Okay, what we are going to get if I run this code? Obj1 is of A type. Okay, A is of A type. Okay, parent type. Don't you think, do I get true here or do I get false here? Let me minimize this. Okay, do I get true or false now? Relationship is that test extends A. A is parent, test is child now. Now what we are doing? We want to check obj1 is of actually A type. It is of A type, yes or no? It's of A type. But we want to check if it is of test or not. Obj1 is here actually. Okay, so we are trying to do what? We are trying to come down. I mean, the direction is in the downward direction, child direction. Don't you think that we get false here? Do you agree with me? Anyone who is saying false or true? Who is Krishna Prasad says true. What about others? False or true? Let us see. I am saying false. What do you guys are thinking about this? Okay, let me remove this also, since we are dealing with only one object. True or false? False. I am also false. So if people are false, some people, Krishna Prasad is true and Vijay Kant is true. Let us see who is correct. False. Directly it is false. Why will get true? Why we will get true? People who have said true. Why we are going to get true, guys? Okay, this is our code. Okay, right? Always create a kind of a kind of diagrammatic mapping. This is one, this is two. There are two classes. There are three classes. So I am talking about the classes in relationship now. Okay, so test class, how the test class is related to class A. Okay, so by using this extends keyword, don't you think so? Of course, we have another class B. That is a different thing. Okay, this is going to what? Extends. Okay, and how this class A is related, somewhere it is related to what? Object class. Every class is a child to object class, right? Is what? Object class, right? And we have a class B. This class B is not extending to anything. So this is also what? Related to object. This is extending to object nature. So this is the hierarchy. This is the hierarchy. What is the question here? What is my question here? obj1, a obj1 equal to new A, right? Object reference is created. Okay, our object reference. This is our object reference. Reference variable, I can say. obj1 is a reference variable. Okay, I want to check obj1 is instance of test. Okay, actually obj1, this obj1 is of actually it's of A type. It is of A type. This is A. Okay, if I check if obj1 instance of object true, in this direction true. If I check if obj1 is object of test, in the below direction, if I try to do the checking false. Agree? Right? If I create an object for the test class, okay, just assume that if I create an object for test, obj2 equal to new test. It's a dead child object. Completely, it's a completely child object reference variable, right? Okay. obj2 is of test type. Okay, it is going to be here. It is a directly test type. You can also obj2 instance of A. Above direction true. Instance of obj2 instance of object. Of course, true. Right? obj2 instance of B. Error. No relation. I cannot test if there is no relation. If there is no relation, I get error. If there is relation, okay, I either get true or false. This is related. Test is related to A somehow and A is related to object. Okay, these three, these three is, that it has a relationship. Okay, these three classes is separate. Okay, and these two classes are separate. So they are also in a relation, but they are in a separate relation. Both are independent relation. Making sense, everyone? Any confusion? Just try to focus the advantages of instance of operator, right? And try to first understand these things in the diagrammatical way. Understand these things in a diagrammatical way, because this understanding is important to understand what downcasting in Java. This understanding is important what to understand downcasting in Java. Okay, by this, can I conclude that? Okay, let us go back to our theory. Okay, this theory is now making sense. Okay, instance of is a keyword for checking if the reference contains object reference or not. Okay, so it is also known as what? It is also known as comparison operator. Comparison operator, where the instance is getting I'm sorry guys, excuse me, instance is getting compared to type returning boolean values. Boolean values, true or false. Right, what is happening? It is also comparison is happening where instance is getting compared. Instance means object reference variable is getting compared to the type just to do return only to, I can say only to return boolean values which is either true or false. True or false, I can also add in an inheritance relationship. It is making sense, right? Is this theory making sense? Now, everyone answer. Is my theory making sense? Okay. Now, one more thing, one of the interview questions, one of the famous interview questions. Okay, I think you will be able to, you are in a position to answer this now. Okay, so I have a test class. Test obj1 equal to new test. Okay, only one object is there. Okay, I want to check if obj1 is of test. So what kind of interview question is this? Anyone can answer. Okay, you answer this question. I just want to keep this interactive. Please answer what is the answer now? Any answers to take on? True. Good. Answer is true. Very straightforward. True. Okay, I can also do right obj1 dot, even if I do object. Okay, what is the answer? True, because every class is a child to object class. Do you agree? It is also true, right? So they also ask you, they just do like this as well. Okay, they place a condition. Okay, so in this condition you will be asked to test. Okay, you can also place this kind of comparison if obj1 is instance of test. Okay, else system dot out dot println, yes it is. Okay, no it is not. Okay, now see the question. Now you answer me if obj1 is instance of what? Test. Yes, it is. And if obj2 is instance of test. Very simple. Same question. I just used if else conditions here, right? If I run this code, yes, it is. Okay, this if condition will be, this is going to return true. Once it is returning true, the if block gets executed, right? So this statement will be executed. This statement is going to do what? This statement is going to get executed, right? Now if you see, instead of new test, if I just use, if I'm not declaring this as null, okay, this is interview question. Okay, which one will get executed actually? Okay. Yes, it is, or it is not. Obj1 is of test. Obj1 is of test. What we usually think, okay, obj1 is instance of test, so this is going to get executed, right? Now you see the answer. It says no, it is not. Okay, so when you are representing, when you are placing a value like null, okay, when you place a value like null, even though obj1 is instance of test, even though it is instance of test, okay, there is no object creation here. You are missing what? You are missing the object creation. When you miss the object creation, when you miss the object creation part, okay, you get false. You get false. When you will get true, if you do this, you will get true. New test, right? When you do this, of course, you will get what? You will get true. This case true. But when you are not doing this, when you want to assign a value like null here, even though it is instance of test, even though this obj1 is instance of test, okay, but it, since the value that we have assigned it here is not an object value, it is a null value. Null is empty, nothing. Null is something like, a kind of something is there but nothing. Null. Okay, so this is going to return false. Okay, this obj1 instance of will return false. So if it is returning false, if block will be skipped and else block will get executed. That's why we're getting no, it is not. Making sense? This is one thing that you have to remember. Everyone, are you getting this? Okay, the moment you say null, definitely there is something wrong, right? The moment you say null, it is not, it is a complete, it is an incomplete thing. Object is not at all created, but you want to check the instance. Of course, this is obj1 is of instance, test instance. Perfectly agree. But this part, okay, the right hand side part is not an object creation part. Okay, we are assigning a null value to this reference. Okay, when you do assign a null value to the reference, even though it is an instance, okay, it will be treated as false only. Are you getting this? Okay, even though if you do this, it is going to be false, and I don't think even though if you try to check its parent, right? If you try to do what? If you try to check its parent, it is not. It is definitely not, because it is null here. Okay, one more question. I think this one. Can I do this, guys? Let me remove this too. Let me remove this also. Object obj equal to new test. What is this talking about? What is this line exactly talking about? Upcasting. We were discussing about this concept yesterday. Parent class reference variable can be assigned to the child class object. Object is a parent. Internally, this is what happening, right? Extends object. Parent class reference variable, okay, can be assigned to the child class. Child class object can be assigned to the parent class reference variable. Upcasting concept. Okay, implicit upcasting, because this part will be upcasted by the compiler. This will be added by the compiler. What compiler will ensure? Okay, this person is trying to do a type of casting. Okay, he is trying to assign the child created object to the parent class reference variable. Okay, there is some imbalance. Let us make it balance. So it is going to add this cast operator. Okay, so now both are balanced. This is of object type, even this is of child type. Okay, this is parent type, even this is of child type. Internally this conversion is happening. That concept is called as what? Upcasting, right? Even though if you mention this, if you don't mention this, implicitly compiler is going to mention this, balance this, left LHS equal to RHS. Okay, child class, it cannot accept this, so it is trying to convert this child to parent. Cast operator, even if you remove, no, we don't see this. Okay, but already compiler is going to place this, which we cannot see. Like the way compiler is going to place extends to object class, compiler is also going to place this object thing. This is called as what? Implicit typecasting. Okay, let me remove this. Okay, my question is system dot out dot println, okay, obj instance of object. What is the answer now? Obj instance of object. True or false? Don't need to think much. Apply the theory that we have just discussed. True. Do you agree with Vijay? Yes. Don't worry. This is something. One additional parenthesis is that. That's why we got that error. So true. Okay. So now you also tell this obj is instance of test. True or false? Any idea? Do we get true or do we get false? Come on. Ratna says true. What about others? Vijay says true. Got my question? Obj is of object type. I want to check. Okay, this is instance of test. Everyone true? Any other answers? Sorry. You get copy. True. Because we are placing the child class reference variable, child class object, and this child class object, okay, is typecasted internally to object itself. So this is the proof. Internally it has been typecasted to object itself, right? So this whole thing is now of object type. Thank you for rejoining. Please confirm my screen and my voice is audible and are we set? Okay, guys. See, I expected that you will be answering false. Okay, I just want to create. I thought you might be getting confusion. Okay, so this is the proof that this right hand part is also of object type. This right hand part is getting converted to the what? Object type. Okay, so even though if you do object instance of test, okay, this test is converted to object. So that's why we are not getting false here. We are getting true itself. Right? This is the proof that typecasting is happening implicitly. This is happening implicitly. That's the reason why you are getting this as true as well as you are getting this as true. You must be wondering, why you are not wondering that I have just said that if you want to transfer this obj from parent to child, opposite direction, it is supposed to be false, right? Why it is not false? Why it is true here? Just because typecasting is happening. That is my intention. This part is being added by the compiler. Okay, test is of a child type. I will explain it to you clearly. 1 minute. Obj instance of test, obj instance of object. Okay, we are supposed to get true. True, true. Okay, so what is really happening internally? That part we need to discuss now. Okay. Right. This is our code, and we have two objects. Okay, this is one object, this is another object. Okay, this is the extends relationship. Okay, and when I say object, they are just objects. Okay, our class. Okay, object, this is object class, and this is what? Test class. Okay, this is extends relationship. Extends relationship. Right now let us do a small modification here. Okay, I'm removing this. I'm saying obj object obj equal to new object. Okay, directly I'm creating an object for the parent class. Okay, I want to check obj is instance of test, obj instance of object. Now you tell me answer. What is the answer now? Got my question? Object has been created for the parent class. Okay, object obj equal to new object. I want to do the testing. Obj is obj instance of test. Okay, obj is of what type, guys? So this is okay, just a little modification. I want to check, is this obj instance of obj is instance of object? Is it instance of test coming in the opposite direction? Don't you think that we will get false for the first line and true for the second line? Agree? False true, false true. Good, good, good. False true, right? So a kind of modification. What I did previously, obj object obj equal to new test, parent class object, child class, parent class reference variable and the child class object. Okay, now I am doing the same thing. Obj is instance of test, but what you people will be thinking, oh, this obj is of object type. Object type means, right? So this is what you are going to think in the mind. So obj, this time our question is a different question. The object has been created for obj equal to new test. Okay, what we usually think, okay, this obj is of object type, so this belongs to object. Okay, and if you ever trying to find instance of this obj instance of test, okay, we will be thinking like the same way that we have thought just before. Now we will be thinking like, okay, it is coming in the opposite direction, so it is false, but it is getting true. Why it is getting true? The proof is, okay, here typecasting is happening internally. This new test is getting converted to what? Implicit typecasting, upcasting. It's internally getting converted to what? Object type. Okay, even though you try to do the comparison, even though if you try to do the instance of test, you're not doing it instance of test. Indirectly you are checking it for, is it instance of object only. That's why you got true previously. Now you will get true, because internally a typecasting is happening. Even though you try to check instance of test, this test is again converted to object type only. This obj is of object type only. Conversion is happening. That's why it is true. This is also true. I'm sorry. Java space test. True, true. Are you getting this? This could be your interview question. This one. Okay, and I think that's all about this instance of operator. I don't think we have any more examples. That's it about the instance of operator. Do you have any questions for me?